This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It is time for Top of the Morning. I am Abdul Ali, covering for both myself and my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, who is out on assignment, working hard. Got to give a big shout out to the South Shore Press, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate y'all being here to join us for Top of the Morning. And if you haven't done so already, please jump over to tuconservative.com. That is where you can sponsor an episode. You can also get yourself one of these handy dandy TUC mugs or work privilege t-shirts or something like that to help us keep spreading conservative values into urban communities across America, the great nation that we love, the best country on the dadgum planet. Also, gotta let you know, tomorrow starts the North Carolina Republican Party convention. I am excited about it. I am running for NCGOP vice chair. Now, why might you ask, would I be running for NCGOP vice chair? For two reasons. One, because I believe that 2024 is entirely too important for us to rest on our laurels. We can do so much more to spread the values and benefits of conservative policies into urban communities. We can do more to ensure that we have effective communication to and with our grassroots, and we can do a whole lot more to make the Republican Party visible and viable in our state's urban centers. So I am looking forward to seeing each and every one of you all. If you're a registered delegate, come on up to Suite 2877 on Friday night. We'll have a Motown meet and greet, some old school, some good times, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody for convention. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, mugshot real quick. My brother will get on me. It's what we on today, bros and ladies and gents. We're on our Marvel bug. Yes, it's going invisible. The guy you can't see is the Hulk. So listen, this is where we are this morning, y'all. You know, I come from a family, my brother and I come from a family that was riddled with addiction. My grandfather was a heroin addict. My mother was addicted to drugs. She was in recovery. So we know firsthand, and I know firsthand what it's like to live with someone that's dealing with addiction and to have to avoid the pitfalls of the disease of addiction, because it runs in my family. You know, when we like stuff in my family, we really like stuff. So, and I say that to say what they're doing in New York City right now is unfathomable. It is unfathomable what they are doing out there in New York City. I'm going to show y'all something here on the screen. And ladies and gentlemen, what you see before you looks like a run-of-the-mill standard vending machine. And then you look at it and you see toothpaste on the bottom. You see a medical sign. You see some Band-Aids. You see a hand sanitizer. Okay? But what you don't see and what you don't know is that these vending machines are for drug users. Okay? These are chock full with crack pipes and Narcan and all kinds of things. They unveiled this on Monday, their first public health vending machine featuring free drug paraphernalia and anti-overdose meds. The big blue box was installed in Brooklyn on Monday and will offer life-saving naloxone to drug users who have overdosed on opioids, along with instructions on how to use the drug. Instead of snacks or sodas, instead of fruits or vegetables, instead of anything like that, the vending machine has hygiene kits, safe sex kits for anyone with a New York City zip code to claim. Officials say similar machines in the US, Europe, and Australia have demonstrated effectiveness at reducing overdose rates and the spread of infectious disease. So no, we don't want to stop people from using the drugs. We just want to make sure that they're destroying themselves sanitarily is what we want to do. We don't want to invest in finding ways to get people off of this stuff. Let's just give them the crack pipes. Let's just give them the needles. Let's just do it for them. Now, this is a statement from a New Yorker. We are in the midst of an overdose crisis, which is taking fellow New Yorkers from us every 3 hours and a major cause of falling life expectancy in New York City, said Health Commissioner Dr. Ashwin Vasan in a statement. We'll continue to fight to keep our neighbors and loved ones alive with care, compassion, and action. Public health vending machines are an innovative way to meet people where they are and to put life-saving tools like naloxones in their hands. Now, this is the problem. When you talk about meeting somebody where they are, putting a vending machine somewhere doesn't mean you're meeting anybody where they are. It's not what that is. What that sounds like to me is, and it looks like is, and I get the idea. I get what we're going for. But this is not helping. I can show you video after video of people in California where they've tried to do this harm reduction thing and it doesn't work. And you don't give a crackhead a fresh crack pipe and expect him to not use crack. You don't give a heroin addict a drug just in case they OD. What you do is you put them in treatment. You help them withdraw safely from the drug. You find out what the root cause of the problem is that's causing the addiction, and you address that. But this idea that you're just gonna give crack pipes, now this is not a joke, this is not a game. Now, if you notice, that is a full vending machine. It's a full vending machine. Well, by the very next morning, that's what you got right there. That's what you got right there, okay? Drug machine empty by the next morning, okay? Only thing you got left in there is some gauze pads, maybe. A couple of condoms. Who's using them in New York City anyway? Overnight, they wiped out the machine. I mean, wouldn't you? If you needed a free crack pipe, you know, what that tells me is that this, and this is not a joke. I know we say it, it's cliche, we say it all the time, but this is evidence of the moral decline of our country. I cannot imagine growing up as a kid, them putting a vending machine outside, because I remember seeing movies where they was shooting up and all that kind of stuff, King of New York and all these other movies, but I couldn't imagine them putting a crack pipe vending machine, a Narcan vending machine, a clean, and it's, you make this argument about harm reduction. And the real harm here is that these people, right, this doesn't reduce crime. This doesn't reduce people having to steal to get their drugs or beat people over the head. Do I need to go look at what's happening? Do we need to rehash what's happening with the homeless population in New York and what Mayor Adams is calling for people to do to put these homeless, to put these illegal immigrants in their homes? Well, folks, New York City is going to Hades in a handbasket, and it ain't Republicans' fault. I can tell you that much. We're going to come right back after this commercial break. We're going to talk a little bit about Christie and Donald Trump. Don't go nowhere. Right back on Top of the Morning. Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. All right, welcome back to Top of the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. I am Abdul Ali. My twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, is out on assignment. If you haven't done so already, please hit us up at tuconservative.com. Help us continue to spread the values and the benefits of conservative policies to urban communities across the country. Our Hamilton plan is still only $10. With that $10, you get access to a wonderfully curated news feed. You get access to the blog. You get access to a growing community of conservatives who understand the need for us to be communicating to the urban community. So ladies and gentlemen, okay? Before I talk about Donald Trump's stance on drugs and stuff like that, I'm just gonna put this picture up here for y'all to look at. I'm gonna just put that up right there. Jump in the comments, let us know what you think Trump is saying. Okay, let me know what you think Trump is thinking as he looks at Chris Christie. And why am I bringing up Chris Christie? Because Chris Christie has decided it's a good idea for him to run for president. Okay, again. All right. Now, we're not here to shame anybody. We're not here to talk crap about the size of the guy. That's not it. Okay? But what I will mention is that there are a few mistakes that he made as a Republican and as a governor in New Jersey that I think disqualify him from being president. Now, nobody seriously thinks Chris Christie is a viable candidate for president. You can't possibly think Chris Christie is a real viable candidate, folks. That's just not possible to think that Chris Christie is a serious presidential candidate. It just doesn't make sense. The numbers aren't there. The polling numbers aren't there. But he's going to go after Trump. Best believe he is going to attack Trump. And there's, like I said, a few mistakes that Chris Christie made. One, depending on your politics or whether or not you're from New Jersey, this could either be a highlight or a low light. But after Hurricane Sandy ravaged the state, Chris Christie, who is a Republican, openly welcomed Barack Obama to tour the wreckage and then praised him for his response. Many praised it as a picture of bipartisanship. The one problem is that it was only a few days before Mitt Romney faced off against Obama in the 2012 presidential election. Romney lost, and some Republicans fumed, hypothesizing he cost Romney the race. So by giving Obama the look in Jersey, they're saying he messed up. Christie faced criticism for the implementation of New Jersey's medical marijuana law that included a moment where he clashed with a severely ill toddler's father at a Scotch Plains dinner during his re-election campaign in 2013. Brian Wilson was pleading with Christie to sign a bill that would make it easier for minors to participate in the program by saying, "Please don't let my daughter die." But the governor was suspicious of any request to change a program he believed would lead to legalizing recreational marijuana, and he ultimately signed a compromise bill. But that family relocated to Colorado in 2014, where the strains of cannabis were needed to make anti-seizure medication were in ample supply. Today, more than 16,000 people are enrolled in what is still considered the most strict medical marijuana program in the nation. Over time, Christie did concede to minor adjustments that made the cannabis more accessible, but patients and their advocates described the program as dysfunctional. He also dropped the Supreme Court, refused to reappoint State Supreme Court Justice John F. Wallace, the only Black member of New York's highest court. It was part of Christie's oath to reinvent the court, but it also ticked off New Jersey's legal community and Democrat leaders of the state legislature. State Senate President Stephen Sweeney, often a Christie ally, blocked 4 of Christie's nominees to the court in the wake of the feud, and finally settled it in 2014. Okay? Another low point, his administration made a high-profile bid for hundreds of millions in federal education reform money in a program called Race to the Top. But New Jersey fell 3 points shy of nabbing the final spot because of an application error. The incident cost the state $400 million. Okay? There's a lot of reasons. There's multiple reasons why Chris Christie should not be the president. There's a lot of reasons why we should not have a president, Chris Christie. Number one, I don't think he has, and I get it. Jersey is a big state. Jersey's got a lot of ports, so he knows a lot about shipping, and he knows a lot about this and a lot about that. But I just don't see Chris Christie as presidential material, ladies and gentlemen. I don't get the vibes of someone that I can send in to negotiate with China, that I can send to negotiate with Russia. I don't get the vibe that he'll get the respect from the military that a president needs to command the respect because he is the commander in chief. I don't get from Chris Christie the command presence that I would want from a president. And I know that's not that's something that is personal to me, but I don't know. Y'all tell us. Do you think Chris Christie has the command presence, the chutzpah, the panache, and even the skill set to be a president? Now, so one could argue, as a governor, of a fairly large state, a fairly populous state with a fairly large economy, that he does have what it takes from an executive position to be president. I just don't see the Trump attack going well. I don't see it. A couple of other things on this Chris Christie failure. He killed the Arc Tunnel. In 2010, he terminated what was the nation's largest public works project, the Arc Tunnel, a second passenger rail tunnel under the Hudson River, even though work had already begun. Christie said, "We simply don't have the money," and supporters praised him for being fiscally responsible. But 8 years later, he still draws criticism amid series of New Jersey transit woes and pleas for a new passageway between New Jersey and New York. And let me tell y'all something. I go up to New York fairly frequently. Yeah, they need some more. They need other options. It is a nightmare going from Jersey to New York. I don't care which way you do it. It's a nightmare. They need to relieve that congestion. So definitely a nightmare. And I can see where people are a little ticked off about that. Okay. Now, during the 2012 Crown Hall, he called a heckler in the crowd an idiot. The same year, he was on a Seaside Heights boardwalk when he got into an argument with a man criticizing his treatment of teachers. He was commemorating the second anniversary of Hurricane Sandy when a heckler in the crowd complained about disaster aid, and the governor responded with one of his most famous phrases, which is "sit down and shut up." Now, I get it, guys. I get it. You elected officials, you deal with a lot. I'm running a statewide race right now, and let me tell you, it can get fairly nasty. Okay, I'm not even going to bore y'all to death with the stuff that's happening here, but you cannot, you should not get up there and tell your constituents to sit down and shut up, bro. You shouldn't do that. Bad move. Okay. So, no, I think this is a waste of time. I think this is a money grab. I think you'll see Chris Christie raise a few bucks, and then that few bucks will get transferred to some company that he owns and blah, 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 blah. So I think this is a bad look. I don't see Chris Christie as a viable candidate for president. I think it's a big nothing burger. I know burger, not trying to be funny with Chris Christie and burgers, but it's a big nothing burger. I don't think he's going anywhere. Y'all stay tuned. Trump got this video taking a hard line stance. Gonna be hard to top this one. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Top of the morning. Episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Top of the Morning. I am Abdul Ali. If you're just joining us, go ahead, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from so that we can get you a shout out. Again, big up to my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, who's out on assignment this morning, making things happen. Got to give a big shout out to the South Shore Press. Big up to the North State Journal. Big up to all the media out there that's keeping it all the way real. Shouts out to all the actual journalists out there. So, Trump, more Trump. And I have to say, I like this. I like the vibe of this. I like where this is going. I understand it. I get it. And we need leadership like this in our country. Y'all take a listen to what former President Trump has to say about his plan to combat drug addiction in the United States. Take a listen.
For 3 decades before my election, drug overdose deaths increased every single year. Under my leadership, we took the drug and fentanyl crisis head on, and we achieved the first reduction in overdose deaths in more than 30 years. I also proudly signed the SUPPORT Act, the largest investment ever in combating the opioid epidemic. Sadly, under Joe Biden, our hard-won progress has been surrendered along with the surrender of our southern border. It's such a shame. Now fentanyl and other ultra-deadly poisons are pouring into our country unchecked, stealing more than
That's true.
100,000 American lives every single year, and many people think that real number is 300,000 to 400,000. Joe Biden's record is one of death, destruction, and misery in communities all across our nation.
That's a fact.
When I'm back in the White House, I will take action on day one to end this horrific plague and save American lives. Joe Biden will never solve the drug overdose crisis because he is actively destroying our border. What he has done to our border, we had the safest border in the history of our country, and now we have the worst border probably anywhere in the world, including third world countries.
Wow.
That's why I have previously announced I will impose a full naval embargo on the drug cartels and deploy military assets to inflict maximum damage on cartel operations. I will insist on the full cooperation.
In other words, he's coming for y'all.
Of cartels and previously announced I will impose a full naval embargo on the drug cartels and deploy military assets to inflict maximum damage on cartel operations.
Whoa. Woo.
I will insist on the full cooperation of neighboring governments to dismantle the trafficking and smuggling networks in our region, and I will ask Congress to ensure that drug dealers, kingpins, and human traffickers receive the death penalty. At the same time, I will direct federal law enforcement here in the United States to take down the gangs and organized street crime that distribute these deadly narcotics on a local level. They are killing our people. They are poisoning our beautiful children. I will permanently designate fentanyl as a federally controlled substance, and I will tell China that if they do not clamp down on the export of fentanyl's chemical precursors, they will pay a steep price. I had a deal worked out with President Xi. They weren't going to be sending any more, and they were going to impose the death penalty on those that made it in China. Attacking the supply of these deadly drugs will be just the beginning. We must also do more to end the scourge of addiction here at home. Among the most important steps we can take is to strengthen the pillars that give life, meaning, and hope for those struggling with addiction, particular work, faith, and family. We need work, faith, and family. My administration will support measures to make it easier for those suffering from addiction to seek treatment without losing their jobs. We will forge new public-private partnerships for companies willing to provide job opportunities and skills training for former addicts. We will expand federal support for faith-based counseling, treatment, and recovery programs, recognizing that we are going to need God's help to steer our country out of this crisis. Finally, we will ensure that if a parent, child, spouse, or other relative needs to take time to care for a loved one fighting to overcome addiction, they are more easily able to take advantage of the family leave program, so important. When I'm president, we will not rest until we have ended the drug addiction crisis in America.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're talking about. Actual leadership. So as you can hear it, Trump wants to do more for the country to help us end this opioid epidemic, deal with this crisis that is destroying our country, is destroying our southern border. It is wreaking havoc. And because of this border crisis, every state has become a border state. This fentanyl and opioid epidemic, the crime, the illegal aliens, this is making every state a border state. So you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump, hardline stance. You're dealing fentanyl, you're killing people, they're coming at you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've enjoyed being with you this morning for Top of the Morning. As always, you have a positive, productive, and powerful rest of the day. We'll see you guys in Raleigh. I'm in Greensboro for the state convention. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace and love.